Yo guys, what's up? This is Fariko, and what an amazing finals that was between TK and Complexity. That was a heavyweight battle. That was back and forth. It was just amazing. As you can tell, Complexity won 4-3. Came down to the final map, Octane Search and Destroy, which Complexity was able to pull out. And, you know, they won that game 7 or map 7 pretty handily, 6-1. Clayster and Crimsix just went off. Clayster, I think, went 14-3. It was just an unbelievable performance by Clayster and Crimsix. And when the chips were down, and as I mentioned in the previous videos, Complexity has a way of being able to play at another level compared to every other team. It seems like whenever it's that final map, it's just they take it up a notch, and it was just unbelievable. And you could see TK just starting to wear down. I think the only player that performed pretty well under pressure was Gunjar, and you know, you can't have one player play well and the other three guys just, you know, not really carry anything. And so congratulations to Complexity, first champions of Call of Duty Ghost. And you know what's amazing is that this is a completely brand new game, and they showed why in Black Ops 2 they were so dominant. It's not because they necessarily have the best gun skills over everybody else, because every team has really excellent gun skills. But I think it just comes down to preparation, teamwork, and just able to, you know, adapt on the fly, as well as figure things out. Thanks to the help of Mr. X. And you know, this, you know, I don't want to overplay that he is a, you know, the reason why they won, but I think he lends not only in game, but it's all the preparation before the matches, scoping out the other players, scoping out how they play. And obviously the players have to go out and execute, but he's able to do that prior to the matches and make adjustments during in-game matches. And I think most of the teams learned quite a bit, you know, in this particular first tournament, what guns work very well on certain maps, what setups will, you know, work well. And you know, everyone's gonna see where all the head clutch spots are, where all the, you know, power positions are. So the next tournament is gonna be even more exciting than it was this time. And I gotta say, Blitz, you know, if it's matched up between a, you know, dominant team versus a weaker team, it gets out of hand. I mean, like I said, the Complexity, I think, scored 35 goals in that one match prior, a few matches ago. So, you know, Kaliber also came in very hot. They beat Unite 3-1 pretty handily, and Unite shouldn't hang their heads. They had to go through the losers bracket, but they made a valiant comeback, but they just came up short. And then I just want to give a shout out to Just Us Pro. They're the Cinderella story of the tournament. They had to beat so many top teams. They had to beat Curse New York. They had to beat Envy. They beat, you know, they beat, I think, also Vanquish. They beat so many top teams just to make it out of, you know, not only the, you know, they came through the open bracket and they got eliminated early, and they had to fight through the open bracket, losers bracket, and then, you know, just claw their way back, and they were able to come all the way back. And they're a very young team, and you know, I think people, you know, should be on the lookout for that team. So let's get to the finals. Whoa, what a finals it was. You know, when Complexity, it was the first map was Sovereign, Search and Destroy, and Complexity, you know, pretty much demolished TK. And then I thought, oh, here we go. You know, Complexity is just gonna completely, you know, outslay them and whatnot. But that wasn't the case. Well, I guess it sort of was, because the second map was Domination and Sovereign, is the same map again, and you know, Complexity dominated the first round. I think they were up by 11 or 12 points. And then, you know, I think their strategy on the second round really backfired, because they were, you know, instead of trying to win, they sort of played defensive, and that really cost us. They got a little bit spawn trapped in the middle of the map, middle of the match, and you know, TK was able to come back and win by plus, I think, 14 or 15, and they ended up winning overall +2. And then we went to Blitz. That's a new game mode. It was on Octane. And Blitz is one of those wild cards, because no team really doesn't. You don't know what strategy works really well for Blitz. And you know, both teams, you know, really traded back and forth. And Complexity was down, but they were able to come back and then tie it up, and they went to overtime, and TK was able to pull it out 3-2, really close. And then so now your Complexity, you know, looked really good, but now they're down 2-1. Now at this point you're thinking, wow, you know, TK's, you know, pulled out the close matches, and they have all the momentum, and we're going into search and destroy freight, and TK is a powerhouse when it comes to search and destroy. But Complexity, you know, clawed their way and were able to win 6-5. I mean, if TK would have won that map, they would have been up 3-1, and you know, even Complexity would have been hard pressed to come back from a 3-1 deficit to win. So now we go to domination on strike zone, and you know, Complexity pretty much dominated most every team on domination. Domination is sort of like the new hard point, you know, and again, you know, Complexity doesn't really have a weak member on that team. That's why they're so good, because a lot of the teams are only as good as your weakest member, and they don't really have someone that's really weak. And strike zone domination, they just completely dominated TK, and they won by plus 20 or more. I can't remember the exact number. And then so they're up 3-2. Complexity is looking really strong. They have all the momentum on their side. But now we get to Blitz, and you know, the wild card game mode. And it was back and forth, and Complexity went up 9-6 on TK in the second round, and TK somehow were able to put up five goals versus Complexity's 1 goal, which was pretty crazy. I don't know if I mentioned that was on Freight. And you know, the last score that TK had was one of the most unbelievable scores I've ever seen. There was literally 0.1 seconds, well, I think maybe less than a second, and Neslo was able to take out 2 Complexity players and score with about a 0.1 second to go. He didn't even respawn at his own side. That's how close it was. And TK was able to push the finals to final map search and destroy on Octane. And you know, like I said in the prior videos, you know, Complexity has a way of elevating their game, elevating their focus, just, you know, being able to really focus in and hone in on the game. And they completely annihilated TK 6-1 in search and destroy on Octane. Clayster and Crimsix went off. They combined for, I think, over 21 kills. I mean, it was just a slaughter fest by Clayster and Crimsix. It was one of the most dominant performances in a final map in MLG finals that I've seen. So, you know, overall, the tournament was really excellent. You know, I was kind of unsure about without Hardpoint, and I still think Hardpoint, if they actually had it, it would have just elevated the you know, the pro circuit for the rest of the year. But even without it, you know, it was pretty exciting, and I think, you know, hopefully